The information provided in this program is not intended to substitute for professional medical advice. Always seek the advice of your personal physician or other qualified healthcare professional before changing your healthcare treatment, diet, or lifestyle. Thank you, Brookings, Oregon, for tuning in. I am Amanda Whittemore here with the Quality Living and Peaceful Support Program. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do give a call or a text. I just learned that this 541-661-4098 number does text. So if you want to email contact@kciw.org, we are here for all of your radio needs, all of your support questions to be answered, everything and anything we can do for you via the airwaves. You just chime in anytime. Today's guest is a known favorite. We have with us, believe it or not, Cara Ringland. Hey, Cara.
Hello, Amanda. It's so good to be here.
I'm so glad you have been able to make it back with us after all that you've been doing it might even been a year, 2 years?
I was thinking about it today. It's been exactly 2 years since I was on the show.
Oh my gosh, how phenomenal. So Cara is currently a registered doctor of naturopathy, iridologist, and Thai massage instructor. She is the founder of Body Temple Health and author of Awaken and Become, a Tree of Life. Always be cleansing. And this book is phenomenal, Cara. How has it treated you since it's been in print?
Well, I was just going to say the last time we spoke was probably about a month after it had been published, and I had a copy in hand. And it started off with a bang. The book has led me on grand adventures for the last 2 years. It's taken me to Southern California, where I worked with my iridologist community, Dr. Ellen Jensen, and studied with her in June of 2024. And I worked with Longevity, which is a Dr. Joel Wallach's company, and I did a Monday guest speaking with his company for quite some time. And I've been a guest on a bunch of podcasts and radio shows, and it led me all the way to New York City, where I did the Health Expo just a year ago and met a key individual who invited me to Florida. And I found myself in Florida just a year ago and ended up meeting through the book my new great adventure, and it was an incredible match because I ended up meeting a researcher in the field of stem cells and therapies for advanced and chronic conditions out of USC, and he has invited me to be studying with him, working with him. We also work with peptides. We have an incredible array of physicians, all the way from neurologists to osteopaths and naturopaths. We have a lot of functional medicine practitioners, and we're in the field of regenerative medicine. And so between Florida, where there's a big biohacking movement, and here in California, I'm coast to coast now with bringing the awareness of cleansing. Because one thing I've found, and even the doctors that I work with have expressed, that we're missing the self-care component. And we can add all the vitamins, we can do the rigorous exercises, we can go to therapy, we can do all of the things and add all of the things in, or take away the bad foods. But what we really need to focus on is clearing the canvas, taking the corrosion off of our battery cables on our nervous system, as well as not only physical, but spiritual and emotional. And when we are purified, essentially, we are able to optimize our health. We catalyze everything that we're consuming. So when we're spending a lot of money on our supplements and our or complementary care, we actually get the full benefit of that. Which is something that we're really noticing within the stem cell community, because one must really care for these delicate cells in their early days in order to make sure to. It's like tending seeds in a garden, and you're able to tend the seeds by taking care of the soil, which is the human body, and especially the digestive system, where we literally have villi, which are like the roots in our digestive system, uptaking nutrients and caring and giving every cell in our body our vitality. So they say, it's our gut is our second brain. Health and our wellness begins and ends in the gut. And so we're all working with nutrition, hydration standards, um, and supplementation that is more nutritive rather than superficial. So it's been quite an adventure.
Holy heaven, coast to coast. That is absolutely for real deal. And action, living and walking proof of applying what we learn, what we know, how we choose to live, and taking action to be brave enough to actually do it. And then the right people showed up for you, with you, doing the same thing, and you guys magnetized and just are out there rocking the planet.
It's phenomenal, especially as you take note, especially being a good friend of yours for now, gosh, it's been 20 years. I know. Mm. To have walked through different phases and faces of oneself, to know that every step was a lesson to prepare us for the path that we're on in this hour. And it's been such a potent journey to turn what was a lot of lemons essentially into lemonade. And then the power of these concepts of manifestation, where when we become our purpose, um, then that which we seek seeks us even three times more. We're their missing component, whether it's in a business, a relationship, shared endeavors. And it's so beautiful to witness the community space. And that's where, coming back to peaceful support, the one thing I love about what you've been doing, Amanda, is bringing in the awareness of community and shared endeavors and like minds. This is where we get a lot of inspiration. That's where aspirations are born. And that's where we are able to execute strategies and become our purpose. And I think that that's what the world's waiting for us all to enact, is to become of service, and be able to uh, use all that we have learned to help others in one way or another. In my world, I was raised in the world of health and initiated by my own ills. So this is my path. It may not be the same for everyone, but once you are able to really identify it, and it's like GPS. If you put it in your phone, you're going to get there. You might end up taking a few detours and wrong turns, but that is your destination.
It's so true. It's so, so true. And oh, and my goodness, I miss you.
I miss you. Now tell me about you. I was busy in Florida last year when the International Yoga Gathering was in Brookings, Oregon, at the second annual. And I was with you in 2023 when you launched that project. So tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, golly, yeah, we missed you then too. But we knew you were so empowered to be on this just like fiery path of all, like you said, of your life's purpose, and just really live all that you're called to do. And I was here in Brookings kind of doing the same thing, like providing this sacred space at the Azalea Park, our second year. It was a phenomenal turnout. We had so much support. We had so many people show up, so many vendors, participants, people in our community that had been there before, and then also new people. I would like to thank all of them, every single one of them, especially Tara. She came all the way from San Jose, California to provide Kriya Yoga.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It just the amount of people who showed up from different places was just so beautiful to see connectivity. My nephew, Tyler, showed up and he got up on stage and played one of his soundtracks with one of the DJs from Crescent City.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
Yes, Black Sage Runners, they performed. Uh, it, at, Honestly, I feel like I owe them so big because they showed up after a show they just did in Arcata, drove 2 hours here, got up on the stage. It was the only blistering day of like maybe almost 100 degrees with the sun shining exactly just right on the stage. They were dripping.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually said to them, you really don't have to play, honestly, but the devotion and the goal and the whole community idea, everybody stayed right around 2 o'clock. People went under the trees because it was the hottest day in the world in Brookings. And some of the teachers did not get to provide the activities they were wanting to provide. And they're super awaiting 2027 if it happens. And yeah, it's phenomenal. I put the aerial stand out in the grass so that everybody could play. Yeah, yeah.
How great. I'm so glad to hear that you had a full park at Azalea Park. And you say that in 2027, you're hoping to do another one locally?
We don't know yet. It's a ton of work. It's a ton of money. And I thank the city grandly because they gave us one of the tourist grants that we have here in the city. Yeah, over $2,000 strictly for advertising. And we utilized every
Brookings,
penny.
Oregon.
Yeah, right. Community support, like in full effect.
Well, you are really carrying the torch in your community. And that's why I always have so much fun connecting with you because we are holding these torches in our communities, and it's kind of like stars. We light up an area, and then if you notice, we're all connected, and these beautiful patterns appear. And it's like family constellations, you know? And that's where I see that this next chapter, especially for where you've come along with your career, is wow, it's been a big year of or 2 years of fruition as women in the business realms, as entrepreneurs, really pursuing our purpose with passion. And, you know, I think the two together really create for a lot of joy and fulfillment.
It really does. It's phenomenal how the process happens. You know, you set your goal, time becomes an illusion. Just like when you mentioned 20 years of us knowing each other and working through all the unique situations we've had, that it's like, wow, it's really been that many years. But it feels like I just saw you at Briar Patch Natural Food Co-op, like giving you a big hug, like just like reconnecting. And I don't know.
Well, and it's so powerful to see because coming from 20 years ago when we were the young people looking up to our elders for support, education, knowledge, wisdom, um, and then now to recognize that in our communities, we are that pillar for the younger people and to really extend that peaceful support, the community support that goes beyond ages, races, classes, colors, creeds, to really bring in that knitted, woven family feeling where people don't feel so alone in a world that is distracted and disconnected.
Exactly. And honestly, that's what I love the most about your work is not only did you make this book, Awaken and Become a Tree of Life, Always Be Cleansing by Cara Ringland and Christine Maxwell, you also created the workbook. So it's like you're physically here with us, holding our hand, guiding us through what you physically already been through. It's not like imagination. This is actual, real, tangible situations and how to work through it with detailed space even for you to journal about your own things. There's a self chart in here. I highly recommend everybody go to Amazon. No call of action. Simply recognizing the power in support and being there and being that light.
Thank you. And what's wonderful about the book is when I wrote it, I practiced everything that is in the book to the T during the 9 months of producing the book because I had had a health crisis a couple of years prior during my mother's passing away. And in that stress cycle, I had developed an autoimmune condition that was really having a hard time on me physically, emotionally, and everything else down the line. And so practicing the precepts essentially and the principles that are preserved within the pages of this book is what actually brought me into my wellness and also was able to execute really fulfilling these greater wishes because I was no longer in a state of, oh, in the at this perfect time one day, maybe I'll get to that. It was as just for today, I've got to do it all. And so, talking about lemonade, I literally did a lemonade cleanse for about 4 months during the process of writing the book. I hybridized it. So, it was including food and solid foods, as well as blended soups and smoothies and all kinds of my teas and tonics and recipes are all in the workbook for easy reference and my schedule of how I executed that plan. And I find that it was the catalyst to being able to get motivated. And this is something I want to speak to because a lot of times when it comes to cleansing, a lot of times people are always, oh well, when I have a few days off or when the kids aren't around, there's these excuses that are we look for this ideal time.
We call it excuse-itis.
There it is. And what's interesting is what I've found is just for today, I'm going to do what I can. Instead of this perfect idea of how I should be, which tends to be so grandiose that the expectations are you can't even achieve it, even if you tried. So you've already been a failure essentially to the judging ego in the mind before you even tried. And so what I call it is the marble effect. And it's the marble theory where you count your wins. Instead of being in the negative mind, you just start really counting your wins and you're gonna count every glass of water and maybe you ate fruit instead of chips, you'd start doing the art of substitutions and habit stacking. Um, and you start to actually really transform your life instead of creating a fad program that you do for a couple of weeks and crash and burn on. You're actually creating a lifestyle transformation that you can seed into the rest of your life and it becomes patterns. Like now, I drink lemonade every day. It's in my refrigerator. And I remember 20 years ago thinking to myself, oh, it's just so much work and uh, in having these kind of grandiose expectations. And now I just do it. It's kind of like Nike. You just do it.
Right. You just brush your teeth or you only floss the ones you want to keep.
Exactly. And just like we wash our faces and do our showers, the inside of our body is just as important to cleanse. And, I talk about that regularly where, we sweep the floors and wash the counters and scrub the dishes on a daily basis, or our house begins to smell bad. And it's the same within our human body. If we're not eliminating properly through our elimination channels, the bowel, the skin, the kidneys, and yes, some through the liver and the lungs, but really it's the excrementary. So the liver is like a filter that filters the blood and then directs those toxins out of the body. That's why it's important to consider liver cleansing in the spring and fall. It's like in your car, so to speak. And then you want to make sure that those pathways are always moving, always be cleansing. The ABCs of keeping you well is keeping it moving and making sure you stay hydrated on a cell level, which includes adding your electrolytes, um, and my favorite, lemon juice or apple cider vinegar, which will switch the pH and really help the body fluids stay alkaline. And we are almost 70% water, 75, they say. And there's studies that show as we age, that percentile will go down into the 50 percentile range because even if they're drinking water, the water is actually not fully absorbing into the cells with wetter water. Wet water is essentially water with electrolytes like Gatorade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look at Gatorade, it's basically sea salts with sugars and they use dyes. So for summer, I strongly encourage people to make your own Gatorade. And you take a quart of water, you put a quarter teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt. The pink salt is wonderful. It has 92 trace minerals that keep your body electrically firing through all of its nervous system. And it also helps your cells hydrate. You put a quarter teaspoon into a quart of water with one lemon juiced in there. And if you like, you can add a little sweetener of your choice. I like a little stevia, monk fruit, agave. Sometimes I'll use a little honey. And that will really hydrate you, especially after summer strenuous activities.
That is so powerful, and it puts it in our hands. And that's like kind of the beauty of naturopath activities, that channel of really revitalizing all that we already know from ancient times, that how we got here, before the evolution and technology snuck up on us and processed everything, is the quick and easy plastic fix and already packaged, ready to go.
Well, and that's what the modernization has created our modern ailments predominantly. Even in massage, we call it tech neck. Well, that didn't exist 15 years ago, 20 years ago, because people didn't have a cell phone in their hand with a 45-degree angle looking down 75% of their day. Now it's a common problem. And so we look at these things, and that's just a structural thing. Now we look at the genetics, and we've inherited a lot of ailments from our families who've been now 3, 4, 5 generations living the modern lifestyle with canned food, preservatives, all the conveniences. I mean, I started getting sick when we moved from the mountains and out of the cabin with the no power, no water. And we came to town, and it was so exciting to go to Pizza Hut and go to the movies and get soda. And I was sick within a year as a young child. And now looking back, I recognize it wasn't my constitution so much. It wasn't an autoimmune system so much. It was the fact that all those genetics had gotten triggered by the foods of the modern day.
Very true.
Right.
And yeah, listeners, I want to remind you that we're talking with Cara Ringland, and her book that she has published and sold tons of and traveled coast to coast, endured all types of phenomenal awakenings and healings with people. Awaken and Become, a Tree of Life. Always Be Cleansing, fully available on Amazon. She is presenting a beginner friendly yet potent guide The book educates readers on fundamental aspects of optimal health, and it is entirely encouraged to make these daily choices and prioritizing health as the ultimate wealth, which I love that, Cara.
Well, there's a quote by Les Brown that says that when you are sick, the only thing you want is to get well. But when you are well, you have 1,000 aspirations. And what I feel is that when we're dragging around sick and tired bodies, we have a more difficult time living in the light and executing our purpose and living a life of joy and feeling peace in our bodies, because that pain, that dis-ease is screaming and taking all of our attention. So it's the greatest distraction is being unwell.
It's so true. And I'm so grateful for being able to talk about these things on the Quality Living with Peaceful Support show here, broadcasted at a cute little station in Brookings, Oregon, inviting such unique and super special humans who nurture and care and live and provide these options for us. Cara, we're near at the end of our show. We have to say goodbye to our listeners. And as always, we invite you anytime. Love you.
Oh, thank you so much, Amanda, for having me. And I look forward to hearing all about International Yoga Gathering as 2027 comes near. And I hope that Brookings, Oregon continues to show up for their community. It's so beautiful to be a part of this network. Thank you for having me.
You better believe it anytime. And definitely, listeners, tune in soon. Have a great night or day or whatever time it is that you're listening to us. Thank you and bye-bye.